Hi, I'm Tony, this is Slack, welcome to Smog Vlog. Today we're going to be reviewing the Rafale by Uwell. Ba-bang, ba-bang.
So, welcome back. We've been sent this tank for review from our friends over at New World Vaping. Do give their site a check out, they're a pretty good price. But for this tank, yeah, it's the new one from Uwell, it's a new sub-ohm tank. They're the people who made the crown.
It's from the people that made the crown. So, let's find out if the new Rafale from Uwell can take the crown from the crown and give you an unboxing right now.
Cowabunga, let's get Rafale out of his shell. So quick tour around the outside of that shell. It's a metal tin, it's pretty funky, it's unusual, it's not see-through, you don't know what the hell it's going to look like. It's brilliant, I like that, a bit of mystery, a bit different. So yeah, naffle, just a bit of basic information about laws. So let's get into this bad boy. Right, first thing, we have our authenticity on the top of the lid there. Capture the king, just win. Definitely got something to do with the crown there. Little hello from Uwell, which is nice. One shiny sticker, I feel like a winner. Oh, look at that. It's like some science experiment. This has got to be containing some weird poison, that you've got to like smuggle on a plane or something. Spare O-rings, less interesting. Instructions and an empty biscuit tin. One standard warning sort of sheet. Another little Uwell picture. So here's your tank. Anti-spitback system, which is pretty cool. ASB system, just like they're ripping off cars there, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so exploded view of the tank and how to top fill. And then you got some other stuff. You got the spec of the device, the features of the device, how to change the coil, all standard affair there. Okay, one spare coil sat inside, one spare glass. Right, so here we are there, this is it. Let's zoom in. Right, here we are up close with our device. So first thing you're going to see is your airflow adjuster. You got two of them, big ones on each side, not rounded. You got these sort of triangled off. It's really funky, I like that a lot. To fill, it wants you to close that, and you come up here, you've got this rubber protector on your drip tip. Obviously you can take it off, but I'm going to try it with it on there. But it's not about that, it's about this unique filling. So you've got these two dots which you can tell are filling holes. How does it not leak? You screw here and that lowers a plate down, allowing it to drop in. Don't know if you can see that because of the glare, we'll get up close in a minute. But yeah, you just screw it and then tighten it back up, boom, it's done. That's it. Easy as that. That's a really good design. As long as it doesn't leak, but we'll find that out with the testing. Coming down the bottom, there's a brassy 510, brassy goldy 510 flat plate. A little bit of protrusion there, not a lot, but some. Really big, deep threads. Little bit of machine oil on them, but not bad. Pretty good, pretty good. So let's pull her apart and have a look inside. Okay, so in there you can see two chambers straight away going up for the airflow, which is unique as well. Don't usually see that. You've got this nice yellow washer rubber grommet thing that your coil screws into to stop the leaking. Again, pretty cool. Let's take this coil out. So nice big chunky coils, nice gold platey connection down the bottom. This is a 0.2 ohm stainless steel 316 coil. In the pack you also get another stainless steel 316, but this is a 0.5 ohm coil. Variety is, after all, the spice of life. So you can see the nice space coils in there, they just look really good. Nice. So for juice feeding, you've got these two channels here. You would also be able to use them for filling, but it'll probably go down your air chamber, but it doesn't stop you if that floats your boat. Yeah, this rather unique filling design has certainly piqued my interest, so I'm keen to give this a clean and see what it's got. double O-ring protection down here. Ooh, look at that. Right, let's give it that clean, fill it up and see what it's got. Back to the studio.
And back in the room. Right, cheers Slack for that awesome unboxing as usual.
Yeah,
some of your
skills,
best work.
fingernails.
Best work. Now, while Slack takes a hit, I'm going to be telling you that he's on the H cigar at the minute. He's got it set to 55 watts. And now he's going to envelop me in vapour. And he's using the 0.2 coil. Oh, creamy goodness.
Yep, so the Rafale comes with two coils. It comes with the 0.2 stainless steel and the 0.5. This is the 0.2, which is my favourite of the two. They're both good coils. It depends on where you like that vaping temperature, that sort of power level. 0.2 is good for me.
Full disclosure, the instruction manual does also say that there's a 0.1 NI coil. However, that is not included in the kit that you get. It's to buy aftermarket.
Yeah, which is good for people who prefer temp control on nickel over stainless steel, because some mods do struggle with temp control on stainless steel, whereas nickel is the common one for it. Sadly, no titanium coils, but it is what it is.
Also, no Canthel coils along with the titanium, because Uwell think that you get a pretty damn good vape from stainless. Yeah,
it works on power, works on temp control, and I agree. It's a nice, clean flavour from the stainless steel there. Yeah, so what's unique about these coils is they're an anti-spit back design. So you've seen the sort of standard coils on the big sort of coils. They have this sort of mesh spit guard at the top, and it works a bit. But it still lets bits through. They've done away with that, as you saw in the unboxing. There's just a solid metal disc there to stop anything coming straight up. As well, part of the anti-spitback design, I believe you've got this sort of divided chamber. I'm pretty sure that must be the purpose of it. As a result, the coils do suffer a bit of sort of taste drop compared to the original Crown coils. However, there is absolutely no spitting with them. They've been designed to stop spitting. They do stop spitting, and they've done really well.
Next up for you guys is the RBA section, seeing as we've just been talking about the coils. Now, it doesn't come with one included in the box, but they have developed one, and it's called the VRBA?
Yep.
Vertical Rebuildable Atomizer, which looks pretty awesome. Over to this guy to tell us more about it.
Yeah, so while I haven't had a hands-on, done a bit of studying on it, it's really cool. It comes with a jig, and you just wrap your coils around the jig and do it, and it makes it so much easier. This guy here, he spent a lot of time re-wicking bloody Kanger sub-coil things, which were disposable, but he liked to challenge, and a lot of people did it. This is, that was definitely not for me. This, a jig to just knock it all together. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. It's just such a good idea. Why we haven't seen this before, I don't know. But it's one of them Uwell things where they just sort of say, what is everyone doing? Let's do kind of the same thing, but just make an improvement on it. So yeah, really impressed with that. As with the Crown, this is difficult to get in the UK at the moment. Near release of the tank, there's supply and demand. It'll get there eventually where it'll be common. But right at this moment, it's a bit of a hunt to find one.
Moving along now to the airflow for the Uwell Rafale. Some people are a bit picky about details. Now, the airflow for this is brilliant. It's lovely and wide open. It's got tapered airflow to either side of the airflow control valve. The airflow control valve is lovely and clicky. I love those airflow control valves that are clicky, because you can just find that sweet spot that you like, leave it there, and it will never fucking move again. Yeah, beautiful, unusual design.
Yeah, looks really cool, works really well. Again, I love the clickiness of it, and also only goes so far. You can't just keep clicking it around in a circle. It goes to all the way open, it will go to all the way closed with one setting, which this little tiny hole. So if you like mega restrictive airflow, not just coming off cigarettes or something, then you'll cater for that. So yeah, really good.
Really, really good.
Yeah, really, really good.
Really, really good.
So next up is tank capacity. Tony?
5 mil.
And next up is ease of filling. Well, it's got quite a unique filling system. So you have to unscrew the top, as you saw in the uppy closey. That sort of lowers a plate internally, and you've got these two holes, one to put the juice in, one to let the air out. Assuming you are letting air out and you haven't put the juice in too fast and it's come out the other side. That's a bit of a problem with a thick juice, you know, your 80-20, something like that.
High VG.
If you don't have it at a bit of an angle and you're not, you know, too impatient, which I am, because I like to refill like an F1 pit stop back when they did petrol, because I'm an impatient fucker. However, if you're sort of a little bit gentle, a little bit careful with it, it's actually a really good design for that. One thing I don't like about the filling is that you will end up with juice sat in these two little top holes. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's self-contained in little cups. However, you will end up with juice there. If it goes in your pocket, that will then come off, so you will end up cleaning it. But it's a unique design. It is quite interesting. It's nice that Uwell are doing something different. It is kind of what they do best. Is it better than other systems? I don't know. So you do have the added benefit of not having to take a top all the way off. You know, like a top fill where you unscrew the entire top and it leaves a little shell and then have to put that. So you're not having to handle extra bits. So that's kind of cool. But as with most sort of top fills, like we did the Reaper Plus, where you just lift it and squeeze it in, it just ends up being a little bit more juicy than something where you take a separate section off and have a lot more access.
Next up for you guys is Sturdiness. Now, we both found that this tank is solid as a tank, proverbially. I mean, the glass being sort of like the weakest section of it, I found that it says in the book that came with it, it's made with quartz, so that's pretty fucking solid shit.
Yeah, and it comes with a spare, so if there are any problems, then yeah, at least you got that backup plan there. It just feels like an expensive tank. You know, it's the same as the Crown. You know, it just feels like a good, solid, expensive tank. You don't have any worries about it. There's no cheapness. There's no wobbliness. There's no weak O-rings holding stuff together. It's just solid. Right, next up we're going to talk about the drip tip. Now, the drip tip you get is that, complete with a little sheath. These sheaths, I wasn't sure if you were supposed to use this because it's very reminiscent of the stuff that comes covering the coils with the Crown coils. You know, they come with this sort of similar type material over it. So I was like, is that just to protect it so it doesn't scratch, or is it there to protect from heat or something? Well, what I found is that the heat, for my usage, you know, and I sort of vape it in the 50 to 60 watt region, it doesn't actually get too hot on the drip tip. A lot of people have said it does. I don't find it does. The rest of the tank gets hot. But we're going to do some testing on that in a minute, so stay tuned if heat is something that interests you. But in terms of vaping this drip tip, you know, with or without it, I quite like it. And yeah, it's quite a nice feature having the sort of soft drip tip on your lips. Tone, your thoughts?
Yes, I like a condom for my drip tip. It's awesome.
One downside to this fixed drip tip, because obviously it's fixed because it's an integral part of the screwing system for the filling system, you can't put your own drip tip on there. You get what you get, and luckily for me, I quite like it. If you prefer your own drip tips, or you like a smaller drip tip or something completely different, then you're not going to be able to rock that here. And while we're talking about the drip tip and this removable sheath, as sometimes happens, you get juice on it, under it, and yeah, the problem with that is it makes it very slippery to try and turn stuff, and it wants to just slip off. It's easy enough to clean, give it a quick rinse, a little bit of paper, and it is good as new. But it's an extra element of faff. But I suppose you don't get lip scag, so you know, it's not all bad.
There's a joke to be had here about coming inside a condom. I just can't think of it. I apologise. I really do. Next up for you guys is the flavour for it. While not the best flavour in the world, not the world's best flavour, it is admirable and stable, in as much as you don't get peaks and troughs. You don't find that you put a new coil in it and it's up here, and then after using it a while and then it will go down. It is fucking rock solid in as much as that. Now, unfortunately, it should be up here, but unfortunately the divider in the chimney and the top of the coil where you're getting that painted spit back protection, it's taken some of the flavour away, which is unfortunate, but it still performs brilliantly.
Yeah, I mean, this is really growing on me in terms of flavour. When I first got it, I thought, yeah, it's a bit muted, but once the coil sort of, was there and I was used to it, it is kind of muted, but you can really pick out individual flavours with it. So we've got a mix in here at the moment. It's part Milkman, part Rocketman, and part Watermelon Candy and Tit Sauce Blueberry Slush. Now, you can kind of pick all the individual bits out, which is, a fair testament to what it can do. But yeah, you do lose a little bit thanks to the anti-spitback system. Then again, with the anti-spitback system, we had no spitback here. So, it is a trade-off. There is flavour, it's all right flavour, and you have no spitback. So that's kind of where this is coming from. This is what it's designed to do, and it does that very well. Right, now's the point where we talk about vapour production, and we're going to take some hits and show you some vapour production so you can see it. However, at the same time, we're also going to be testing a bit of the coils. We're going to thrash them a little bit, and also for the heat. So we're going to take the sheath off just to see if the drip tip gets hot. This is one thing that we want to test out. Is this mandatory requirement? We're also going to test the wicking of the coils by doing this, because I'm going to take a huge hit, Tony's going to take a huge hit, I'm going to take a huge hit, and we're going to do that back and forth and probably cut the video a bit just to see what happens. So without further ado,
hope you guys appreciate what we're doing for you here. Not only are we going bareback, we're going threesome as well for you. If I catch something,
0.6 watts, and yeah, check it over here. Stop hogging it.
Sorry, I couldn't see
Jesus. Yeah, lost in the cloud.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we're still here, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Starting to get hot on the drip tip.
Love the ability to pick out the individual flavours.
Yeah. Now, towards the end of that hit I took there, the drip tip was starting to get hot.
Agreed. Same for me, but not so much as, ow, my fucking lips are alight. It's just warm.
Yeah. Now, I've certainly had hotter drip tips off other tanks.
This is worse than an e-juice review.
Now, wicking of these coils and flavour, consistently, flavour every hit. I'm not getting any flavour drop.
It's fucking brilliant. The fact that you can hit it as much as we are, two-timing it, as it were.
Now, down the base of the tank, I tested that on my lips, because I'm both brave and stupid. The temp down there is getting hot, but the top of the mod's not too hot. There's a bit of heat there.
It's still fine, absolutely fine.
Tank is still kicking. If anything, it's kicking more and more as it's heating up. But we're not having wicking issues. We're starting to run low on juice. But yeah, we're not having wicking issues. The top of the drip tip is hot, but it's not too hot.
It's not so hot that you can't put it to your lips. It's hot. It's warm. Somewhere between warm and hot.
Yeah, it's like a warm sunny day, where it's not unpleasant, but it is, you can say, well, yeah, it's hot, but it's a good thing.
And no spitbacks, which is fucking brilliant. Honestly, if for nothing else, this is one thing this tank has got going for it. No spitback.
Yeah.
Are we just vaping it till it's dry?
That'll probably do. Because that is well above usual consumption.
Yeah.
Even when I've had a few drinks, I don't vape that hard. Maybe a few hits that hard, but not this many. Back just go, 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 go. So it got hot, but I don't feel that I need the silicone sleeve to protect from heat. Yes, it gets warm, but not unbearably so. And it took a lot of hits to really feel that heat come up. Now, the rest of it, yeah, it's hot.
Mm.
But again, it would be. We've just been vaping at 66.6 watts consistently there for a minute or so. And yeah, it handled it. The flavour stayed. It was good.
Science all up in here.
Yeah. This was supposed to be about vapour production. As you saw, the vapour production was just constant. Hit after hit, it wicks really well. And yeah, I was surprised. Pleasantly surprised. Okay, assuming you can still see us through the post-heat check vapour in the room. It's now on to leaks and spits. So we're going to start with leaks. I did have a juice dump experience with this, unfortunately. Now what it turned out is I'm probably going to blame Tony on this, because it was fine the entire time I had it. I got it back from Tony, juiced it up, and then the next morning it had dumped all the juice. Bit of investigation, turns out the coil wasn't quite fitted in right. So the top of the coil has this little yellow O-ring around it, and that gets caught. The coil is a bit awkward to sort of thread in there, and I just don't think it was in right. However, once I refitted it, it's been completely leak free, which is what you would expect. Better than that, it also comes with spare O-rings for the coils in the pack, so you know, we're all good.
On to the spits portion of the leaks and spits. As you would expect from something that's marketed as no spit back, you get no fucking spits at all.
Yeah, so I mean, I was chatting to Tony about a year ago. Spitting in the mouth was well, there's two things: gurgling noises from tanks and spitting in the mouth. They were my two pet hates. And spitting in the mouth was a big one for me at the time. I was like terrified. I was on a fairly high nicotine then, and I just didn't want it in my mouth. So if this had come along a year ago, that would have been awesome. So if this had come along a year ago, I would have been all over that shit. And yeah, it's just great. We've just vaped the shit out of it and had no spits from the end. You can leave it overnight, pick it up, you get no spits. So yeah, it's just really impressive. It works really well. Like I said, you do lose a little bit of the flavour, but not a lot. You can still pick all the flavours out, and there is still good flavour. You might find as well, because of that anti-spit design, that you need to turn the wattage up a little bit more than you probably would do on the crowns. But it's a small sacrifice. If you hate spits, then this is clearly the tank for you.
It's one of those fantastic things when you read the marketing, and you always take the marketing with a pinch of salt. And it's like, oh, no spit back. Yeah, fucking right. But then you actually use it. It's one of those pleasant moments that you're actually, fucking hell, this is brilliant. The company isn't actually bullshitting. They've done their research, they've made it, implemented it, and they can market it then. One of these bullshit things that companies always like to come out with, but in this case, hats off to you, Uwell. You've done a brilliant job.
Yeah, well done.
Now on to the 510 connector. It's brassy gold.
Yep.
Brassy gold. Are you going to say something there? Because you kind of...
I thought you were stopping, so I was going to jump in.
I'll stop. You go.
Yeah. Yeah, so the brassy goldy bit is sort of fairly flush with the 510 threads, and talking to those threads, they're really nice. They're nice, deep, sort of solid threads. So yeah, it's a good 510 connector.
Next up, cost. How much will this tank and kit cost? Well, New World Vaping has it for £30.
Yep.
That's it. But Slack can tell you about the cost of the coils.
Yeah, so where they're new, they're still not everywhere yet, but they're coming. They're going to run around the £10 to £12 mark. You know, I think £12 is pretty much the common price for a pack of 4. So it's Uwell Crown territory for coil costs. And
lastly, the RBA section, which isn't massively available in the UK yet, or at all, probably.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as the Crown again. When the Crown first came out, I wanted the RBA section for review. By the time I got the RBA section, managed to source one in the UK, it wasn't any point reviewing the Crown because it was like months old. So yeah, they're coming. They're going to be around the £10, $10 mark. Rip off Britain. Typical. Really frustrating seeing stuff so cheap in America and we pay more over here for it. But we're kind of used to that now.
Now we've reached that special stage in the show where we sum up with pros and cons. Now, obviously, always we'll start with the cons so that we're ending on a high with the pros. Now, first up for the cons list has got to be the reduced flavour from the anti-spitback system on the Rafale, which is unfortunate, but not terrible.
Yeah, it's really not terrible. So when I started using it, I thought it was going to be terrible. But it turned out it's not too bad. You can still pick out all the individual flavours. Like I said, we had 4 juices in there. You could taste bits of all of them. So the flavour is definitely there. It is not terrible, but you do lose a little bit compared to maybe the Crown. But again, the flip side of that is you don't get any spit back. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Next up on the cons is the limited availability of coils.
Yeah, so you're limited to stainless steel and one choice of nickel coil. Yeah, we've got a lot of other tanks coming out at the moment. Look at the Reaper Plus and all the coil options there. You've got a ceramic coil, you get the dual Clapsons, you get two types of dual Clapsons, you get stainless, you can get on and on. There's so many coil options. Here at the moment it's fairly limited, but again it is a new tank, so we're hopeful that Uwell are going to support this like they did the Crown, and we'll see some more interesting. The coils that do come with it are great, they work really well.
Next up, coils can be fiddly to fit.
Yeah, so again it's that O-ring and a little bit of, it's just bothersome, but once they're in, you know, they're alright. The coil life is good on this, so you're not going to be changing them sort of every couple of days or anything, so it's a minor issue. It's just something you need to be aware of. Be a little bit careful while you're fitting them. Make sure you're not trapping that little yellow O-ring, and if you do and you knacker it up, just swap it out. If you get it right, no leaks.
Obviously you've got the benefit of having your little baggie with your spares in there, so it's kind of a, you know, double-edged sword, pro and a con.
Yeah. Next up on the cons list is the fact that the RBA section is not included with it. The standard Uwell affair, so we didn't really expect any different. It's just one of those things. It's always nice to have all the toys straight away. It's also a little bit difficult to get that RBA section in the UK at the moment, but again, with time that's going to sort itself out.
And lastly, for the cons, has got to be the fixed drip tip, although that is closely tied into the filling system, since you need to swivel the drip tip to juice it back up again. So,
yeah, as drip tips go, it's alright. It's kind of the size I like, and it deals with the heat okay, so it's not terrible. It's just you can't change it, and it's a simple fact. Adding one more con is an idea that Tony thought of earlier, is it would have been a better design perhaps with the filling system if one side was for filling, maybe slightly larger, and the other side was a slightly bulbous air hole to just stop the juice squirting out the top. Maybe. Okay, so enough ragging on the device. Let's move swiftly on to pros, and the first pro has got to be the patented anti-spitback design, which works really well. I didn't think it would, but it does. It's just flawless. So, yeah, if spitback is a thing that bothers you, then definitely check this one out. Very impressive.
Next up for the pros has got to be the build quality of it. It is absolutely solid, and like we said earlier in the review, the quartz glass, it's just brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It's a solid, expensive feeling tank, and yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Next up is going to be the airflow. It's got a really nice wide open airflow, a really great airflow adjustment, through to down to the tiniest hole, you know, and yeah, they've done really good with the airflow.
The next pros, they're going to be the RBA section, because it's going to be a vertical with the jig, although not included with it. It proves that Uwell investing in the bringing out something that they're going to want and need.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of bringing a jig to sort of wrap the core and do that whole thing, make it an easier process. Again, it's what you will do really well. They take a sort of common thing and we can make a few tweaks there and make it really different, really good. And yeah, it's worked really well.
And lastly, has got to be the Marmite feature, being the sheath for the drip tip.
Oh, we've just put them away. Oh, cheeky. Yeah, so I mean, the fact that it comes with this sheath, I mean, it kind of, you either go use it or not, maybe. I don't mind either way. I'll take it both ways.
Yeah, he does.
Thanks. Okay, so that about brings us to the end of the review for the Rafale from Uwell. So, yeah, it was so exciting. Uwell finally releasing a new tank. That was something I've been looking forward to a long time, along with Snowball V2, which needs to hurry the fuck up, but separate issue. When it came, I was like, it looks really cool, and I started using it. Just my initial knee-jerk reaction when I started using it was like, oh, I don't know that I like this. Oh, I don't know. The more I've used it, the more I've sort of fallen in love with it. And yeah, it turned out, from what I thought was going to be a bit of a letdown, it's actually stood up to the test, and I really quite like it.
What's interesting from my perspective for this tank is the fact that although you're getting reduced flavour, it gives you the ability to pick out individual flavours in the tank, which I find is a really fucking unique feature for a tank, whilst also giving you huge vapour production. I mean, it is quite phenomenal. You saw earlier with the heat test. It's just a brilliant all-rounder.
Yeah, I mean, we could have turned that up as well. That was wicking really well, you know. Yeah, it could have taken more. So yeah, we'd just like to say thanks to Craig at New World Vaping for sending this over for review. Do check out their site if you're after stuff. Also, while we're talking about checking stuff out, check out the UK Vaping Forum over on Facebook, which we're involved in. Craig's involved in, a bunch of other really cool people. It's growing competitions on there, so head over to Facebook and check that out.
And that about wraps up our review for the Uwell Rafale. Thank you for watching. We hope you've liked what you've seen, and we're doing a good job for you. If we have, please drop us a like and do the whole subscribe thing and tell your pets, because that's a thing. Also, don't be shy, follow us on the social medias, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
Because we are quite
chatty.
Yeah.
Chatty. And apparently I should be picking my mod up. I do apologise.
Just can't get the staff. Anyway, thanks for watching Smog Vlog.
Cheers.
Yeah, you get all the good bits.
Get all the good bits. You've been handling my bits again. You thought I was going to fuck up there, didn't you? I saw the hesitation.
I was like, yeah, is he going to say it wrong? Am I going to get a chime in and go, no, it's Raphael. Yeah. Right, here we are, up close and personal with the new... fuck it. Right, here we are, up close and... Right, here we are, Right, here we are, up close with the device itself. As always, I'm going to start from the top, not as always.
And he's using the 0.2 coil. Oh, creamy goodness.
I didn't know if I was supposed to say anything other than that. Okay, I'll take over then. When you finish laughing.
Because you saying made me think about Matt and Knuckles and the cock ring, and then me remembering that I split my cock ring on my venti.
Oh, right.
It's too big. We haven't said anything about this being supplied by New World Vaping.
Yeah, we'll have to poke that in there at the start.
New World Vaping, we're just going to...
Come on.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
I can leave that in, right?
Sure.
Craig?
Spitting, they do stop spitting, and they've done really well.
Lots of swallowing.
No swallowing, because it doesn't spit in your mouth.
There's some swallowing.
Yeah, that's just your personal preference, but right this moment it's a bit of a hunt to find one. I said hunt.
Moving along now to airflow for you guys. For the UL Crown, it is awesome.
This is not the crown.
For the UL Rafale Crown, it was awesome. This is even fucking better.
Should we do it properly?
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay.
I've got a really good idea for this.
Oh, fuck.
You can do if you can remember it all, but you won't.
No, I already forgot.
You remember about 4 words and
yeah,
then you
I
lost.
really do. I'm like a fucking
Sieve.
Yeah, I was going to go with Budgie, but I don't know why. I think it's that mirror there. 5.
65. 66.6. What are we talking about? Quiet you.
Yeah, that's enough out of you. trying to talk over here. Now we've reached that special stage in the show where we come on to pros and cons. As always, we'll start with the cons so that we're leading on a high.
Jesus, don't drink all the stuff off the shelf. Good.
Oh, marvellous.
Did I check it had actually recorded? Oh, thank fuck for that. I had a real